Natalie, I assume you're on iPhone.
Yep, I am.
Just making sure I label you correctly.
I'm on iPhone with no picture.
Mr. Chairman, after you open the meeting, if I could have a moment, just kind of go over some directions from the comptroller's office and just some general procedures we need to follow here when we're conducting the meeting online, I would appreciate that.
Yes, sir, sure. And we do have 6 o'clock now and
Living in Tennessee.
meeting to order.
What is the possibility?
A spokesperson for CSX also tells us there are plans for an alternate access route, and those plans are undergoing the city's approval process right now.
Do we know what that was?
Sound like somebody had a news feed come up, audio on their phone or a video or something.
All right. We will call the roll to see if we have a quorum, but first, Mayor, would you like to make some remarks?
Yes, sir. By direction of the comptroller's office, when we start the meeting, the members of the committee need to make a determination at the beginning of the meeting, and I would recommend it's by vote. They do allow you to do it otherwise, but I think it'd be better procedurally to do it by vote. That conducting the meeting by electronic means is necessary to protect the public health, safety, and welfare of Tennesseans in light of the COVID-19 outbreak. So if we could go ahead and do that, I would recommend we do that to meet the comptroller's directions.
All right. We can call the roll to see who we have here. Ms. Atwood, you're here, aren't you?
Yes, sir, I am.
Mr. Falco, Scott Graves,
Here.
Dwight Jewell. Mr. Jewell not here. Mr. King, Brian King,
Here.
Mr. Craig Borland, Amber Russell,
I'm showing Amber is here, but she has sent a group chat and says that she can't hear anyone.
all right, so we'll press then. Seth Thurman
I'm here.
and Miss Steve Whitaker
I'm here.
and Ms. Natalie Knudsen.
I'm here.
I do declare that we have a quorum. Has everybody had an opportunity to review the minutes from the October 13th meeting?
Mr. Harsh, I believe we didn't complete the act that the mayor was requesting for the comptroller guidelines.
Yes, sir. Sorry, Mr. Mayor, would you please go forward with that?
I guess if I'm understanding correctly, Mayor, you need a motion.
Yes, sir. It needs to be a motion and second and then voted on by the membership.
I make a motion that we take a vote to abide by the guidelines put forth by the comptroller for video conferencing for this meeting.
I second that motion.
We have a motion by Ms. and a second by Ms. Atwood. Go by the guidelines of the comptroller's office for this meeting. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Do we need the roll call for that?
Yeah, I'm fine, Mr. Chairman. One of the requirements of the comptroller's office, and I should probably cover this a bit, all votes should be by roll call.
All right.
I've got the list if you want me to go through it, asking the
Yep,
person to do that.
Mr. Thurman, if you would, please call the roll.
All right. Richard Harsh,
Yes.
Amber Russell,
Yes.
Seth Thurman, I affirm that. Beverly Atwood,
Yes.
Jim Falco is a no vote or absent. Scott Graves,
Yes.
Dwight Jewell is absent. Brian King,
Yes.
Craig Moreland is absent. Mr. Whitaker, Steve Whitaker,
Yes.
and Natalie Knudsen.
Yes.
All right. The yeas have it.
It does pass. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes from the October 13th meeting of last year?
Yes.
If so, we would entertain a motion to approve them.
I make a motion to approve.
Ms. Atwood makes a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I second.
Mr. Whitaker seconds. They stand approved. Moving on to our discussion items, starting with the Tennessee Downtown Grant Funding. Mayor, did you wish to speak to that?
Yes, sir. We have got into a program through the Tennessee Department of Economic and Community Development. It's called Tennessee Downtowns. It is for downtown revitalization in rural communities. As part of that program, there is a up to $15,000 reimbursement grant for programs that the steering committee that has been appointed votes to undertake. The committee for Hartsville voted to do a facade improvement program for business owners or building owners in the downtown area. We are currently working with ECD to structure our application, and they will send us the grant contract a little bit later in the month that they asked us to put the application and everything together. As part of this, we looked at any 501c3s that could serve as the arm to go ahead and serve as this committee or help do the receiving the funds. However, none met the qualifications for ECD, so they asked that the county take this on, and I have tentatively agreed to do so, and that's what part of the grant contract will be. But we will need to make basically it's going to be a bookkeeping change on our budget to show a revenue coming in for that $15,000 and then an expenditure line item. So I'm asking that we do this here today. This program is a reimbursement, which means the building owners can get up to $3,000 in funding to do a facade improvement project. That's doors, windows, lighting on the outside of the building, those kind of things. They have to cover 25% of the project cost. They will have to go ahead and pay for it out of their own pocket, submit documentation to the county. It will go through a approval. Excuse me, let me back up just a little bit. The application has to go through an approval process by a committee that will be appointed later this month. Once that is approved, the building owner can go ahead, do their project, submit their reimbursement. After they've got their project completed with their proof of payment, submit that to the county. The county will then approve that and submit that to ECD to get reimbursed. So this is all kind of bookkeeping, but we need to go ahead just to make sure that we've met any bookkeeping requirements, go ahead and get this done. So I would ask if this committee could approve that change in the budget to show an addition of $5,000 to the economic development line item so that we can have that properly accounted for.
Is anyone would like to make a motion to approve that, the funding to the 5,000 to the Economic Development Committee line item?
I make the motion.
Mr. King makes the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Was that
Mr.
Mr.
Graves.
Graves?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Thurman, would you please call the roll?
Yes, sir. Chairman Harsh,
Yes.
Ms. Russell,
Yes.
Seth Thurman votes yes. Ms. Atwood,
Yes.
Mr. Graves,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker,
Yes.
Ms. Knutson.
Yes.
The yeas have it.
It stands approved. Moving on to retail strategies, retaining by the Industrial Development Board. They have hired this company to help the county with the retail strategies. And I would like to, Mr. King is a member of the Industrial Development Board that worked to help this happen. And I would like to ask him if he would address this in the next two items that we have on our agenda as well underneath this. Would you, Mr. King, please?
Yes, thank you, sir. Hopefully everyone can hear me clearly. If you can't, wave your hands and I'll try to do better. As a member of the Industrial Development Board for about, well, a little more than a year now, we've been working on trying to figure out how to hire a consultant firm out of Birmingham, Alabama called Retail Strategies. They are the hosts and organizers of a convention that the mayor and Miss Natalie and I have been attending now for 2 years in Nashville. They work hand in hand with the state of Tennessee to put this convention on, and the state of Tennessee grants Trousdale County about $10,000 just so we can attend this convention. And in that convention, they try to teach towns and counties the skills that it takes to organize yourself and compile the data needed to lure in businesses into your community. And they primarily focus on lodging, restaurants, and entertainment. That's their main focus. It was such an impressive course to go through. They give you exercises, you hear speakers, you go through breakout sessions, and it's quite comprehensive. We started thinking that it was possible that we could hire this company to liaison and consult on our behalf with these large franchises. They have a working relationship with every franchise in the country. And they are working for a lot of the communities around us that we see that are quite prosperous, such as Lebanon, Gallatin, Nolensville, Lynchburg. A lot of places that you see under growth right now has been spurred because of their relationship with Retail Strategies. Industrial Development had a fund balance in its account through the sales of property. We largely can't really do a lot with that. So we tried to figure out a way to utilize that money so that we could use it for the betterment of the community by hopefully drawing in some retail businesses, which would increase our tax revenues. It would increase our sales tax, our property taxes, our sales tax, our job creation, as well as just a community standard of life that would increase because we would have more choices in our town. They performed a report in this convention that was staggering. They called it a leakage report. It was designed for Trousdale County. And they estimated $140 million a year are escaping our community and our economy to surrounding counties in 3 areas: food, lodging, and entertainment. Now, as we have practically zero entertainment and zero lodging, we're losing a substantial amount of revenue to surrounding counties, mostly in food. I think we all eat in Gallatin, we all eat in Lebanon. We all do that sort of stuff because there are fewer choices here, especially if we want to go out for a special occasion or have a night out. So with the mayor's help, he really did extensive legal research in our ability as a board to retain Retail Strategies, and with our city attorney, Mr. Beller's opinion on this as well, we were deemed that we were allowed to do such an action. That sort of deviates from the name Industrial Development Board, but the bylaws of the Industrial Development Board are, they give us a lot of latitude so we can deviate into other areas that are helping in the betterment of the community. So to make a long story short, we did in December pass a vote to retain Retail Strategies. We are the folks who administered the funds, and they work for the Industrial Development Board on behalf of Hartsdale, Trousdale County community. In this first year, it's going to be largely a lot of legwork, which the mayor has done extensive legwork on compiling a lot of the information that they're going to be requesting, so it may go a little faster than we thought, but they're developing a package so that when they present this package to the prospective retail, such as McDonald's, or why don't we have a McDonald's, well, let's say Wendy's or Burger King or Taco Bell or whoever. And it doesn't have to be fast food. There's lots and lots and lots of retail chains that they deal with, but just say that for instance, that they drop on them such a focused and intensive data package that they have no questions. Everything that they want to know to decide to move here is in that package. In this compilation of data that they're going to be working on for the next many months, one of those is the hotel feasibility study, which Miss Natalie had done extensive work to have done a couple of years ago. The other thing that is exciting about Retail Strategies is that at the first convention that we attended, the lady who performed the feasibility study for Trousdale County actually spoke at the seminar, and so did Cobblestone, the company that has the hotel chain that flirted with putting a franchise hotel here. That deal sort of fizzled out in the investment stage. It got close, but it didn't quite get across the line, and it just kind of fizzled out and lost interest and died. Miss Beasley, the president of Retail Strategies, I spoke to her about this, and while I really strongly would like for the hotel franchise to be wholly owned by local residents in Trousdale County so they can reap the rewards of that venture. If we can't get it across the finish line, we may need some outside capital to help get us across our investment. And Ms. Beasley perked right up and she said that shouldn't be a problem. She has a lot of people that she can call on that do this on a regular basis. They're familiar with Cobblestone and they trust Retail Strategies, and they would be happy to consider us for an investment. So I was excited about that the hotel deal that Miss Natalie worked so diligently on is not completely gone and dead. But in that, a feasibility study like Miss Natalie had done is sort of like an appraisal on your property. It has a shelf life. It has a lifespan. It's only good for, I think, maybe 6 months. And it's been now a year and a half or 2 years. So we will need, Retail Strategies has requested that this is not mandatory, but it is an elective portion of data that we could provide that would make us even more appealing when she goes back at these companies. One of those is the hotel feasibility study. That feasibility study is now outdated. Now, Miss Natalie is the one that's been in communication, but I'm assuming that at this point we might have to pay for a whole new study, which is $6,000 or $7,000. It is possible that Miss Natalie could work her magic and talk them into giving us a discount, since they just did that not very long ago and they have much of the data, but I wouldn't count on it. That would just be our best guess situation. The other thing that Miss Beasley had spoken about was what she kept referring to as a residential study. Now, I have some questions about that. We're a little bit, Miss Natalie and I discussed it, and we're a little bit confused by exactly what that means. So I have an email into her, and she has, as of this meeting tonight, not responded to clarify that. So I can't speak intelligently a lot about that, but I believe there are 2 studies that they're asking for us to consider purchasing to augment our availability and eligibility for these franchises. I'm not asking for any action tonight. There's nothing that we have to do just yet, because one, we don't want to pull the trigger on this feasibility study or this other study once we figure out what it is and what it costs, because they have that shelf life, and we don't want to do it too soon and then have to mess around and have it renewed again. But I would like to put it before the board's consideration to start thinking about this and be aware of what we're trying to do. And what the Industrial Development Board would truly like to do is partner with other committees and other entities in our community to help us bear the burden of this expense, so that we can all work as a partnership and as a community, and it's just not one entity pulling all the strings and handling all the burden. The Economic Development Committee that we sit in does not have quite the access of funds that Industrial Development does. So I think it's well within our means to potentially pay for these studies once we get a better figure on that. And hopefully by our next meeting, I'll have definitive information and a timeline on when we would need to decide on that. But I really would like for the committee members to hopefully get behind this partnership with us. And this could be the single largest step forward towards regrowing our community in many years. And it could really, really help us in so many ways. So with that, I just would like to put that before the committee and for consideration, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. King? Anyone? I appreciate you working with that effort, Mr. King, and hearing no questions, we will move on.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The Chamber of Commerce is the official tourist organization. Ms. Knudsen, would you like to speak to that?
Well, I think that we are the official tourism office, basically, just by default.
Yes,
Um,
ma'am.
And that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, we've just done a new Battle of Hartsville driving tour program through Tourism Tennessee in the CARES Act. So, yeah, we are basically the default tourism office.
Do you need a motion on that, Mayor?
Yes, sir. Basically what this come about is there's a tourism enhancement grant that opened up last year. I think it comes available every year. We were not eligible because we had never designated an official tourist organization. And so this would kind of get us in compliance and eligibility for that grant. As Ms. Knudsen said, the Chamber of Commerce is pretty much doing all of our tourism marketing and everything for us anyway. This is just an official recognition through a resolution passed through the county commission. And I would ask this body put forth a motion and second it and vote on it to recommend taking this action to the full commission.
Would anyone like to make a motion so that we can send this forward to the full commission as the Chamber of Commerce being the official tourist organization?
I would.
And who is that? I can't see.
Amber,
And Ms. Russell, do we have a second?
I second that.
And Mr. Whitaker seconds. And Mr. Thurman, would you please call the roll?
Yes, sir. Chairman Harsh,
Yes.
Ms. Russell,
yes.
Mr. Thurman votes yes. Ms. Atwood,
Yes.
Mr. Graves,
Yes.
Mr. Jewell, I see you've joined.
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker,
Yes, I do.
Ms. Knudsen.
Yes.
The yeas have it.
It does pass. Do we have any other business? Anybody have anything else that they'd like to bring tonight?
I sent out an email to the commission. I can't remember if it was yesterday or earlier this morning, informing the commission about expansion of broadband into the Providence community in southeastern Trousdale County by DTC Communications. They got a grant, I think it's called a Reconnect grant from USDA to expand their service area. They did cooperate or speak to several organizations, most specifically Middle Tennessee Electric, who would normally have that area, and Middle Tennessee Electric was not looking to go into that area right now. So USDA asked DTC to provide just broadband service into that area, and they got the grant funds to do that. That project should be completed either sometime late this year or early next year. There are some other legal things that have to be done for them to provide various services. We're going to go through that process that we were just informed of that earlier this week. So we've been in contact with them. They look forward to working with us as we go forward. And as we get something more substantial, we bring that to the commission. And obviously, if there's any more information available, I'll update the commission. And there probably should be sometime within the next couple of weeks. I expect there'll be a press release issue that should be in the VIDET and other organizations just announcing the grant. So that's really all the information I have right now. They're really excited about coming into Trousdale County. They were wanting to be here earlier, but they didn't have the funds. So they've got that grant now. They're really excited to be here and working with us to provide the most service and be a benefit to the community.
That'll be really excellent for the Providence community. I'm glad that's happening. Do we have any other public comments? Anybody from public?
Mr. Harsh, I would like to say one more thing, building on what I spoke about before.
Sure.
The vote for Industrial Development Board to retain Retail Strategies was unanimous. We've had overwhelming support from very important people. The mayor has done a tremendous amount of work on this. Mr. Jewell has been a huge help on this, big supporter. If really looking forward to this, this is an extremely exciting thing for our community. It won't happen overnight. It may take a couple of years before this all comes to fruition, but we're so in the season now, and hopefully we will reap those rewards, everyone in the community. I really hope that everyone on this committee can get excited about this and hopefully be supportive. if anyone in the community, anyone on this committee, anyone watching Facebook is curious about this or has questions, or if I fail to properly explain what's going on, please reach out to me. I would love to talk to you about it, and I want to build an excitement across the board for this, so that we all can see what's happening in the future for our community.
Mr. King, when Ms. Beasley came and spoke before some people not long ago about retail strategies, she really made it come alive, and you could understand the excitement. Do you think maybe she would come and speak before this committee at some point?
I think it's possible that we could get her to do a video conference in the future, yes, and they do. They have benchmarks, and I'm not looking at those right now, but I think they have a benchmark meeting that they do with us every so often, and it's possible that we can organize that where not only this committee, but all the members of the commission could potentially dial in and be kept up to our progress. We want this to be a very open air activity, so everybody in the community, and especially everybody in the city government, is aware of what's going on, and can hopefully be excited about it as well. So yes, I do. Now, getting her back up here physically might be a challenge, but I think we can absolutely arrange something.
Thank you, Mr. King.
And Mr.
Anyone else have any comment,
Mr.
Mayor?
Chairman, I will follow up on that. That presentation Ms. Beasley did was recorded, and it is posted on the county's YouTube channel under the Industrial Development Board playlist. And it is also, if you go to the Industrial Development Board's webpage on the county website, there's a link to that video. So if you want to watch that presentation.
I would encourage people to watch that. Anyone else have any other comments? I appreciate everybody joining in tonight, and Mayor, your audio was we could much better than the courthouse good the other night when I was out of the committee. Very much improved for everyone.
Well, I thank Ms. Thomas for that. We had a trial run earlier today trying to get all the bugs worked out. We had to get some things straightened out, but I think we come up with the best solution to provide the best audio for the people that's watching online and the people attending online. So hopefully we've got all the bugs lined out, but if there's anything else that needs to be improved, please contact me and let me know, and we'll try to do that.
Thank you, Mayor.
I would like to
Entertain a motion to adjourn. Have no further comments.
I would like to say thank you to the mayor and Ms. Thomas for all their hard work to set these conferences up for us. It's a lot of work for the mayor to come in with all this equipment, but I do make a motion to adjourn.
We have to adjourn, and do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. We won't need a roll call on this. I appreciate everybody coming in. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harsh.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
Sorry, I got here late. I got caught on a phone call.
All right.
So this meeting will end, and we'll have to go to another room for the next one. Just letting y'all know.